Will we ever see the peak of inflation? That's a question a lot of Americans are asking these days. You might remember this declaration from President Biden last November when Consumer Price Index reached 6.8%. It's the peak of the crisis, Biden said. Unfortunately, not, Mr. President. CPI is now above 9% for the first time since November 1981. Depending on where you live, inflation could be much higher. There are now 8 metropolitan areas where the CPI has surpassed 10%. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Seattle, Miami, Houston, Baltimore, and urban Alaska crossed above the 10% threshold last month. They join Atlanta, Phoenix, and Tampa, which already had CPI measures in double digits. The relentless rise in CPI is bad enough, but with it comes the likelihood of even bigger interest rate hikes that could tip the economy into recession. Expectations are growing that the Federal Reserve will raise rates by 100 basis points later this month. According to some analysts, recession-triggering rate hikes are all that's left to save the country from an ongoing inflation spiral. Frank Flight of Goldman Sachs had this to say following news of June's big jump in CPI. The Fed's best hope now is inducing a recession as soon as possible. High inflation or recession? That's not much of a choice. Even worse is the possibility that we could be forced to face both at the same time. That's called stagflation. It's something that we have not seen since the 1970s, the decade known as the Great Inflation. Given the gloomy outlook, those Americans who are approaching retirement or already retired may want to look for ways to hedge their retirement savings. One possibility would be to consider adding physical precious metals to their assets. Citing both relentless inflation as well as growing possibility of recession, Goldman Sachs recently raised its year-end price target for gold to $2,500. That would represent a near 50% increase over current price levels. Only you can decide the best path forward for your savings. Whatever you decide, I encourage you to take the economic alarm bells going off right now seriously. As billion-dollar hedge fund manager Nancy Davis said recently, it's unclear how the central bank gets the inflation genie back in the bottle without a lot of pain along the way. And no one needs to feel any more pain. Until next time.
Hey guys, Joe Montana here with my man Devlin Steele. He and his team at Augusta Precious Metals are constantly putting out new information to keep you ahead of the game. Click subscribe now and hit the notification bell to stay up to date. You'll be glad you did.